What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. Honestly, haven't been doing a whole lot. Um, I no shows over the weekend. I didn't bet yesterday, so not a whole lot to report. Vino, good to be back with you though. Everything good on your end?
Everything's good here, Skee. New week, a lot of stuff in front of us. Most of my action this weekend was football. The CFL had their opening week. The UFL had their playoffs. Had a 3-2 football weekend. Did get involved Saturday in the W with what was the last game of the night? It was a loss, and I can't remember what the last game of the night was. It wasn't the Las Vegas game. I don't know. These days run together, but take my word for it. We had a WNBA play. It did not win. Didn't play yesterday other than football. So, like I say, mostly a football weekend. We'll see if we can get back with W tonight.
Yeah, I do have one that's interesting for today. At least one that's interesting for today, but haven't really been liking much over the weekend. So we'll talk about it. We will start in the NBA though. We'll start with game three of the NBA Finals. Spurs heading to the Garden. We got Knicks -2 with a total of 216. Um, Spurs, real big disappointment for me, honestly, Vino. I thought that they would look a lot better than what I've seen in the first two games. Like Wemby, as much as he was punking Chet in the last series, he looks like he's getting punked now. And maybe it's the youth, or maybe the last series wore them out. I don't know. The Spurs haven't been looking like the Spurs that I'm used to. I'm curious if you think you're going to get another performance like that tonight, or will they finally turn it around after a few days rest and to strategize? What do you think here, Vino?
All right. First thing I want to say is that I had to go back and I had the Fever New York game the other day, which wound up being a loser. That was bothering me that I couldn't remember. That was a Saturday night game. Um, Couple of things here, Ski. It does, I think, to the eye, it looks bad if you're San Antonio. Statistically, it doesn't look bad at all. It's not that big of a separation here. I think what we all remember the most is what's happening at the end of these games. San Antonio's winning with 90 seconds left in game one. They kind of freak out as a team and get outscored 11-0 in 90 seconds, chucking up shots really fast in the shot clock, fouling. Meanwhile, the Knicks, were the team that seemed way more composed, made every play. Then last game, you're 104, 104. You get a defensive rebound with 20 something seconds left. You've got a chance to win the game. And what do? You go up the court and throw it off your teammate's back. He's not even looking. So it's the late game stuff that has really cost San Antonio here, at least from a straight up perspective, not necessarily from an ATS, because they've obviously been overpriced 2 games in a row. Um, they've shown the ability to blow a big lead. They've shown the ability to come back from a big lead because the rally in game two was pretty good on San Antonio's part. As far as statistics go, they shot way better in game two. They only shot 36% from the field in game one. They shot 47.5 in game two, which was the Knicks haven't shot the ball really well at all in this series. What they've done is they've made a couple extra threes. San Antonio has been to the free throw line more. It's really, like I say, on the statistical end, it's not as bad as 0-2 heading back to New York sounds. Um, but they've got to correct the close game situational stuff if they're going to win tonight, right? This game is near pick 'em. It's about a bucket. Favorite Knicks are favorite here. If they're going to win, they have to get the close game stuff down. They've got to be more composed. They look like a young team twice in a row now. While New York looks like the much more mature team. I'll say this about Jalen Brunson because again he took over in game one, but Jalen Brunson 19 for 56 in this series, only 33.9%. I mean, San Antonio is doing a good job on him. So there's all kinds of things here that you could say San Antonio's close. The question is, can they get over the hump on the road? New York's going to be a frenzied atmosphere. I have a hard time And I don't know, Ski. Oftentimes, when we analyze games, it comes down to with me and you. I've seen this one before, right? And I've seen this one before, and it just seems like the Knicks here, gut feeling is too easy of a play. Just seems too easy. Like everybody's gung ho on the Knicks. San Antonio's being outplayed. Tell you, when I comb through it, they're really not being that badly outplayed, if at all. I think they're good enough to win a game. So if it were me tonight, and believe me, I haven't bet it yet. Couple of options that I'll put on the table here that I have for this game is either San Antonio first half in desperation mode down 0-2. Maybe the Knicks get caught up early in a little bit of a frenzy. And the Knicks, for what it's worth, haven't always been the best first half team. Do a lot of good fourth quarter work at home for sure. Maybe San Antonio can get the jump on them here, or San Antonio full game. Maybe they do get over the jitters and play well on the road. I think I'd rather trust first half, Ski. I don't know that I want to trust San Antonio in a 2-point game with 40 seconds left again and just, say my prayers and hope that they can overcome what's been bad late game play. So maybe the Spurs first half for me.
I would even say maybe the first quarter. I mean, they've been amazing first quarter all year. I mean, even last game, first quarter hit. Um, Maybe just isolate that. Even I would argue. I'll be the guy to say. I'll be the one to say it. I think, and you can call it whatever you want, but I don't like, and I think that is going to mess with the players in the game. That all of this stuff is happening. For the president going to the game. Now it's a whole TSA. Everybody, got to go through this whole whatever they have going on. Like it's the airport. They can't have their watch party. They can't do their normal stuff. It's just the vibes are off in New York, in my opinion. I think that the Spurs are going to bring it to them. So that's just my thoughts. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Well, I did see De'Aaron Fox comment on that it's a little bit different now. We got to go through all this protocol, all these extra checks because the security has to be what it has to be. And I will say that something like this, Ski, it kind of correlates to when we see um, banner hangings in an arena, and everybody's so happy. There's a banner hanging. It's a frenzied atmosphere, and then the team goes out. The home team goes out and lays an egg, and it's very possible. You isolated it even further, and I can't disagree. Maybe first quarter is even a better play than first half, but I just have the feeling that San Antonio gets the jump out of the gate in this game, and maybe we can cash a ticket with them early. I wish I could trust them full game, but what they've shown so far late in games, you just don't want to be on that side if it's close.
Very good stuff. We'll move over to the WNBA. And now it looks like the Liberty and the Sun opened up 11 and a half. Looks like 13 and a half. Total sitting right around the opener. As far as the injury report, you have Sabrina still out, Griner's out, and Burke is game time decision. Um, the Sun do have the rest advantage. The Sun got blown off the earth versus Liberty earlier in the season, but the Sun have been playing better basketball lately, especially since getting Layla back at the point guard position. Liberty have started to win some games, haven't necessarily been winning by this big of a margin. I would think that this time the Sun would be able to stick around, keep it respectable at least. It is Commissioner Cup game though. The point differentials do mean something in these games. It's making it hard, for some of the dogs to get home because of that. But I can't help but think the Sun can stay in this game, or at least, cover the 13 and a half. What do you think, Vino?
Glad you said it, Ski, because I think it applies to all three games here today. These Commissioner Cup standings and the point differential, how tight things can get if you wind up in a three-way tie at the end. They break these ties. You see it at the end of games, like you say. Teams are not dribbling out the clock in these games. They're trying to score more and win by more. New York is behind Atlanta here by 13 points in point differential. They're also in the Eastern Conference tournament with Indiana, and it's since Indiana's already gotten the two hard teams out of the way, Atlanta and New York, and gotten a split. It's very possible you could find all these teams ending up, 4-1 against each other and point differential coming into play. So for New York, There's that incentive. But boy, they did not shoot the ball well. They got away with one Saturday, right? Because if Breonna Stewart doesn't go to the free throw line 21 times, and Indiana got out free throwed in that game, like I got to check my notes here, 40-15, minus 25 free throw attempts. That's what carried the Liberty home. They were behind for most of the way. I'd expect a better offensive performance out of them here. Connecticut hasn't been a great defensive team. However, they get Aaliyah Edwards back tonight. They won't have Griner. They'll have Edwards. Morrow's been real good. I think Nelson Adota will start at center from what I saw. Their three-point shooting is abysmal. If Connecticut puts up a three-point shot, you almost know it's not going in. Last 4 games, three-point shooting out of the Sun. 4 of 18, 22%. 4 of 17, 23.5%. 6 of 22, 27%. 1 of 21, 4.8%. 4 games worth of 14.1% three-point shooting. The good news for the Sun is, Skee, they covered 2 of those games. They can't shoot any worse, and they covered twice. So I think you started a little bit or painted a little bit of a picture that we kind of followed last week, where maybe Connecticut's a little undervalued as they get healthier. Now, again, Brittany Griner's not here, but they're pretty well stocked otherwise. I know New York's going to want to create margin. I do think they're in for a better offensive game, but I'm kind of with you here that Connecticut has found a way to hang around. And to tell you the truth, it could be 3-1 because the game they lost to Atlanta 91-75, it was 68-65 with about 6 minutes left. And then they just fell apart at the end. So if I was looking at side, maybe it's a little too heavily priced for New York, but from an offensive standpoint, I think New York's going to score their share of points tonight. So there's potential here to look for New York team total over, maybe a full game over. And if you're looking at side, I think I'd probably look at dog just because Connecticut's been able to shoot, or they've shot lousy and been able to cover.
Fever and Mystics. This one had an opener of 4.5. Looks like it's going to 5 now. Total going up from 167.5 to 170.5. Man, all I can think about when I see this game is I'm having a conversation. Actually, going back to another conversation from a year ago with one of our colleagues on Twitter, Rob Veno, and you know, they give other players so much slack for maybe having a bad game or not shooting the best, and now their favorite player, Caitlin Clark, is stinking it up night after night after night. I mean, she's shooting 37% from the field, getting picked on every game defensively. What is going to change here? Fever at 5-5, Mystics at home, catching points. I'd probably look towards the Mystics. I'd probably look towards an over. What do you think here, Vino?
First off, it's a huge contrast in tempo, right? One side, I think, is either 1 or 2 in tempo. The other side is second to last or slowest in tempo. So you have that. With Washington, it's like a broken record. Say the same thing all the time. Their backcourt is miserable. Sonia Citron, she's a good player, but she's kind of hit or miss. When she's on, they're a better team. When she's not on, which has been fairly often, they get nothing out of their point guard. They're a team that has to win on the interior. A couple of things here. Indiana, of course, they've gotten the 2 hard conference games out of the way. They've played New York. They've played Atlanta. Now their next 3 in a row are Washington, Chicago, and Connecticut. If they're going to build point differential, if they're going to stay in this race to make the Commissioner's Cup, then they should win these 3 games. They really need all 3. Washington is last in the league in fast break points. Washington allows the second most points off turnovers. Again, it's kind of a backcourt versus front court matchup. And Indiana's front court hasn't really shown all that much this year. I think Washington does a couple things well that Indiana can combat. Washington rebounds the ball well, but Indiana is the number 1 defensive rebound percentage team in the league. Kind of surprising to me, but they get on the defensive glass, and they played better defense the last 2 games. I mean, let's face it, they held New York to, I think, 2 of something from 3, and like I say, without the free throws. I think Indiana is probably the right side here. I'll go a little contradictory to you. The problem is the price with them. You can't. It's hard to trust their defense enough. But I think in this range they can probably win by 6 or more. I just don't think Washington's good enough at shot making. So I'd probably look Indiana. Total has been bumped to 170.5 now. Also, last thing here, really quick. Washington's defense hasn't been good. If Indiana makes some shots, they could definitely pull away here. Caitlin Clark, she's getting annoying to watch because she's always arguing with somebody every 2 seconds of the game, whether it's her head coach or a ref. So we'll see what happens here tonight in this one. But I think Indiana might be the right side.
Well, we see this one a little bit different. We'll see how it shakes out. Um, and I forgot to mention Aaliyah Boston is questionable. Clark is probable. Last game for tonight looks like the Storm and the Aces. Opened up Aces minus 13.5. I see 16 out there now. Total open 164.5. Seen it as low as 162. And I mean, that makes sense when I see, how the Storm have been playing lately. I mean, their offense has just been non existent, really. I think they get Malonga in the lineup tonight. I'm pretty sure they do, but you're looking at the Storm 68, 68, 56, 72, 64. I mean, you're not going to win games playing like that, especially not going to win versus Aces playing like that. Um, but like I said, I do think Malonga helps them on both ends of the court. So it is a little bit too much for me to lay with the Aces. I want to say first half, but they've been much better on the road than at home for whatever reason. Maybe it's an Aces first half team total over. I think that's the bet I'd probably trust most here. But again, Kennedy Carter is questionable. I would want her in the lineup too. So just probably one where I'd wait and see. What do you think here, Vino?
Yeah, a couple of things. If this wasn't a Commissioner's Cup game, Ski, I might fade the Aces at this price 16 because the game Saturday with Golden State was as intense a battle as you could have. Golden State was right there at the end. Las Vegas made 3 or 4 free throws in the last 10, 11 seconds to get the cover and win that game. But boy, Golden State gave them all they could handle. And this could be a relaxed spot if it were a regular game. The problem with this is it's not a regular game, and Las Vegas is pretty deep behind the two teams in competition with them for the West position in the Cup. They're 42 points down to Minnesota in point differential. They're 16 points down to Dallas in point differential. Both of those teams are undefeated, like Las Vegas, in Cup play, and they play Minnesota and Dallas this week after this. So it has the makings of a little bit of a letdown. You're right. Malonga did play the other night, the other day with their top draft pick, Awafam, who, and it's like Twin Towers when you see them on the floor, 6'4", 6'6". They got off to a great start against Minnesota. They were leading. It was one of the best in-game plays I've made all season long. Just bet Minnesota because they were down like 10 or 12. And Minnesota, by the time halftime came, they were winning. Seattle can't shoot. Hard to score when you can't shoot. Um, their team total possibly could stay under here. I'm not sure. These lines must be going up, Ski. It must go from 14.5 to 16.5. I get that Seattle's a bad basketball team, but I think they're going up because people know what we're saying here, that these cup games become important. And if you're going to get a team that you can beat by 20 and you're down in point differential, you better beat them by 20. So it's a tough game to play. Maybe the route you suggested is the right way to go, Vegas early. I just know that game Saturday had to take a little bit out of them because that was a tough game against Golden State.
Vino, my bad. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm just gonna put this on the screen, man. I'm a little distracted today. Buy three, get three free. 6 days for $69. You can rock with Vino or myself. A good way to get involved with either of us. Vino, if you have a best bet, we love to hear it. If you don't, it's all good. And if you have anything else you'd like to promote, feel free.
We'll skip the promotion and get out quick here, Ski. What I'll do is I will leave a best bet because I bet this one New York Liberty team total over here tonight. I'd expect them, like I say, to score big. Number here is 88.5. So that's what we're going to leave you with. Best bet New York Liberty team total over 88.5.
Good stuff, I'm not gonna leave a best bet. I'm just right now. I'm probably just gonna do my best to cash my 5% play for tonight and go to 33-15 for the playoffs. So that's I'm just gonna rock with that. Always good to break down the games with you, Vino. I appreciate you taking the time to do it. Chat, we appreciate you all. Thank you for supporting the show and bringing your insight as well. Best of luck, everybody, on all your action. We'll catch you guys again tomorrow.